All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's do this. I'm ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does anybody see me? Oh, it's always so slow when we first get started here. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Mike. We're going to start real slow here because nobody ever shows up on time, so we're going to hang out for a few minutes and talk about sillinesses. Hope everybody's doing okay. First of all, I had to pay my property taxes today. That was painful. Don't even ask. Man, I tell you start paying. There's a Winston Churchill who once said that if you're not liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not a conservative as you grow older, you have no brain. I'm going to call it a Churchill. We'll see if anybody wants to double check me on that. Yeah, it's so paying bills today, doing work for National Cyber Group, of course, is always a lot of fun. And but it always makes it a bit of a challenge here for trying to get started on a timely basis. There we go. People are starting to come in. I do have one fairly interesting announcement, but I want to save it for a minute until we get close to a quorum here. But should be pretty cool stuff. So, since it's nothing but the most loyal of followers on right now, I have a question for you. If I had to shift the time for one of the two live streams from 2 o'clock Central Standard Time to another time, would you want me to do it earlier or would you want me to do it later? Now I recognize, especially with Tolowit there in Hawaii, that it's already probably a challenge for you, but what's happening here is I'm getting a lot of people, primarily in the States, who are telling me we very much want to be a part of the live stream, but it's tricky for them because it's during the day, during the business day. And so I'm curious. I'd like you to type something into the chat window, if you don't mind, and say, if I did it in the evening, Central Standard Time, one of them, I'd keep one during the day, but if I kept one more in the evening, what do you guys think? So type something in. Dave, 6 a.m. Dave, I love you, but not Tolowit. You'd be okay with later. I actually would thought you'd be the one who'd have the most trouble with that, being way out there in the land of the luau's and poi. All right, so I'm probably going to shoot for later. And Dave Rush, I don't think it'll be 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, but I'll probably do 6 p.m. But let's just see. It's only 10 a.m. Oh, it's not that bad. All right. Yeah, Ahmed, the problem is that I'm getting I can get a lot more people to attend if I do one of the shows later. And so it's not really a matter of later, it's more of a matter of how much later can I get away with. I'll keep one, probably keep the Monday at 2 o'clock, but the Wednesday is almost certainly going to be changed. Yeah, Ahmed, I'm sorry, man. I'm glad it works for you. What time is it in London right now? It's like 7 hours, so it's like 9 o'clock London time, something like that. Maybe 8 o'clock London time. I can't remember. Yeah, 8 p.m. I actually have a time clock up. So yeah, Ahmed, I'm afraid that some of these, the Wednesday one might be late for you folks in the EU. So, but we'll always have the Monday one, so that we won't be changing that time. I think that's why we get so many of EU folks on it, is that this 2 o'clock time works so well for y'all. So we'll see. Yeah, Mike lives in a 37-room mansion on 640 acres. My name is Elvin J. Fudd, millionaire. I own a mansion and a yacht. Hey, Mike, when is Steve coming back? Lloyd, we're trying. I actually talked. When Steve was on last week, I was like, dude, you got to start showing up more. And he's very excited to do that. And I also know that Steve, he works a 9 to 5. So for him, if we do a later one, that could also work out really well for him. I have not actually spoken to him yet, and I will make a point to do so. In fact, Dave Rush, could you talk to Steve for me and ask him if like a 6 p.m. Central Standard Time would work for him? Dave, I know that would be a challenge for you, and we can work that part out. But Dave Rush, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and ask Steve how he would feel about that. In Europe, they can call it Mike at midnight, Mike after dark. Yeah, Lloyd, it is interesting. There's a lot of stuff. I filter myself aggressively. There's a lot of things I'd like to talk about that I'm trying to be more careful about. But guys, I just sprung this on Dave Rush, so he's processing this, and really I wanted to talk to you guys first because without you guys showing up, it's not a good idea. So anyway, we'll let you know. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you contacting Steve. So yeah, I was supposed to be. I'm going slow here, guys, till we get a few more folks in. So I was supposed to have a dry January as a no alcohol, and I have blown it so badly. Oh my God, have I blown it? I am embarrassed at how badly I've blown it. But I'm going to get. We're going to get rededicated, try it again, and try to be a little bit better. Hey Don, good to see you, brother. Yeah, Don, you missed some of the conversation. We're going to be looking at moving Wednesday to a later time slot. TD, thank you for being flexible, brother. I appreciate that. All right, well, I think we got enough people starting to show up here. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Haha, you look like a whiskey man or maybe bourbon. Yeah, very much bourbon. Bourbon is my weapon of choice. Primarily Maker's Mark. And not that fancy Maker's Mark, like the Maker's Mark 46 or any of those. Forget about it. Regular, good old Maker's Mark. Pour it in a glass and put 1 or 2 ice cubes in it just to cool it off a tad. And that's my drink of choice. Of course, I'm also a big wine fan. So right now I'm still on a Napa kick. So I'm really enjoying Far Niente Chardonnay, which is delicious. A little pricey at $50 a bottle, but hey, I'm Mike Meyers, popular author. So I'm letting myself splurge a little bit on that. I've been drinking a lot of different Burgundies too. I like Burgundies. So, but yeah, we're trying to get a little bit better. Well, what happened, Belind? Betland. Small announcement on my side. I got my first, oh my goodness, yeah, Mazel Tov. Round of applause to you, my frere. Got my first day job. Thanks, Mike, Dave, and Total Sem, and all you new friends on Chat Discord. Well done. Hey, Betland, we're going to, maybe you would consider jumping on. Get yourself a few weeks in and let us know how you did. And we'd like to hear that. So hang on. What was the other announcement I had for today? One moment, please. Oh. Hang on a minute. This is Michael Liebert, the guy who went through the CyberNow Labs program and literally got employed the next day, which doesn't happen much, trust me. But still, it's very impressive. And you guys had asked for Michael Liebert to come on, and he's literally messaging me right now. Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm texting Michael even as we speak. And he said he'd be glad to come on. And he says he has Mondays off on his job, but it'll be February before he gets the Mondays off. So I told him we'll wait. We can wait till February. But yeah, everybody's excited to talk about him. He's a great success story, and I'm really, really happy for him. All right, man. Well, this is good days here. Yeah, Bedlin, yeah, okay, so Bedlin, here's how this is going to work. Hang on a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have anything up and running yet. I'm going to blame Dave Rush. All right, so Bedlin, do me a favor. and send me an email. Oh, here, I got a better one. Here. Betland, send me an email to michaelm@totalsem.com and just let me know. I don't think I even know your real name, and you're like one of the old geezers now, so I should know you on a better basis. But send me an email. I'll give you my phone number. I can't put my phone number on YouTube. The whole world gets it that way, but there's nobody on here right now I would be happy to give my phone number to. I just don't want it sitting in a chat window forever and ever. You know what I mean? But send me an email. Let me know. Let's talk about your job a little bit and then see what would work. We've got so many great success stories, and people are always very curious about what we're doing to get those jobs. And so it would be great to hear from you. So we'll set that up. And there you go. Yeah, so he put that in there too. Great. All right. It must be me working in sorry. Okay. All right, so a couple of things. Well, the big announcement was that we're going to have Michael Liebert on. What a great success story. He's got so many success stories that I'm going to let him tell them. But it was fun. I've been chatting with him since you guys asked to have him on starting, well, it was just 2 days ago, right? And so I've been chatting with him. He's very excited to come on. He's got some great stories. And I'm not going to tell you any. We're going to let him tell you when he comes on. And Dave Rush, if you can interface with Michael, I'm assuming you have contact information for him, Dave. If you don't, let me know. Honestly, at this point, him and I are just talking on LinkedIn. But we could talk to him directly if we need to, but right now I don't think we need to. All right, so nothing special today. We kind of talked about the specials, setting up some of the different time frames and all that. Of course, we're always going to have a competition today, so stay in line for that. The whole goal of this live stream is for you to ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I know it's a lot of old geezers in here that I know and love, which is great, but don't forget what the main reason I'm here is that this is an Ask Mike Anything. And the goal is to ask questions primarily on CompTIA certifications, although we can certainly go outside of CompTIA certifications to some extent, unless it's Don Odinga, who asks me complicated questions and 30% of them I can't answer. Don, keep throwing them at me, man. There's no evil there, brother. So we can see where we go from there. But definitely do ask questions. Up at the top, where it's at the top of the chat window, where it says Top Chat, be sure to hit the pull down and set it to live chat to get the YouTube algorithm out of the way. That makes things a little bit better. And then on top of that, that's about all we got. So we start at 2 o'clock, and we run until the questions run out, or 3 o'clock, whichever comes first. So we've had a couple of sessions lately that have run past that. That's no big deal. We've had sessions, live stream sessions here that lasted 20 minutes. And that's okay too. I mean, what's important is that you guys know that I'm here for you, and I want to help. And I want to share in the joys like Betland's new job, and I want to share in the excitement like having Michael Liebert and Steve Nicholson coming on. And that's really all there is to it. So that easy. So keep that in mind, guys. Let's make sure we have some questions coming. If you ask a question and I don't see it, go ahead and just type it in a second time. Don't type it in 5 times. It's unnecessary. Dave Rush is usually pretty good at catching questions that I miss, so it's no big deal. Also, do keep in mind that, first of all, we do have a Discord server, the unofficial Mike Meyers Discord server. Please check it out. Dave Rush has got a link on there for you. We got a few hundred people in there, so it's a good active Discord channel, a great place to ask questions. We've got lots of great techs in there, techs who are better than me, and especially if you have something where you want to share a screen or you want to like communicate in voice, that type of thing, the Discord is really the way to go. It's absolutely amazing. Alucard. You're almost done with the Network Plus book. Yay! I do love the Network Plus book. Mike's banner says 2022. Oh, you mean the YouTube banner. Okay, well, fix that, Dave Rush. Harumph. Man, 2023. It still sounds like a Star Trek date. Doesn't it? I mean, you really think about it. It's like 2023. Spock. All right. So a couple of, well, we got all that pretty well covered, so that's in good shape. Also, do keep in mind, just because you're nice enough to show up, we have a 50% discount with a ridiculously high discount. All you have to do is head over to www.totalsem.com. Don't panic, Dave Rush has got this all in the chat window. Head over to totalsem.com. Let's say you're interested in Network Plus. We get bundle an ebook and our practice questions. We call our practice questions the Total Tester. Put those two together and you get 50% discount on that. So I'm already cheap. This just makes it ridiculous. It is like 5 million degrees in here, so I'm going to take advantage of my Nest thermostat app, and I'm going to turn the heat down, as they say in Texas, which is a nice way of saying get the air conditioning working. And so that's about it. So seriously, guys, we need some questions coming in. I will do a competition here shortly. We'll do a competition on, we'll do something like Network Plus today, I think. Might be fun, especially given that Alucard is almost done with the book. Question, okay, here it goes. New Job is saying if I get the Server Plus, then it'll come with a pay raise. And looking into it, like somewhere between A Plus and Net Plus, kind of easy. I find Server Plus to be fairly easy. The reason I don't do Server Plus is real simple, is I don't make any money on it. There's not a lot of demand. In fact, to be honest with you, man, this is the first time I've heard anybody have a motivation to take Server Plus, literally right here today. Given that it's been around for over 10 years, I'm not going to say it's sad, but it's surprising. So, yeah, go for it. I don't do a Server Plus. I think we have Server Plus practice questions. We'll have to double check with Dave Rush on that. But I've never written a Server Plus book simply because I can't sell enough to make it worth my while. I know. That's so hard, but it's true. What do we got here for questions? Oh, yeah, also, do keep in mind, guys, if you're not a link, at least follow me on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me if you want, but at the very least, follow me. I've got so much going on. LinkedIn really is my primary social business output right now. The only real social media I'm doing. I'm trying to get TikTok restarted. National Cyber Group wants me to do TikTok, and I just got so much pushback on it, and I had to go through all this rigmarole, and I'd promised them I'd get started this week, but we'll try. We're going to try. All right. Yeah, it does. Nest knows all about my temperature desires. Oh, you did recently send out an email through Udemy that CompTIA is planning on updating all of their prices. That is true. And not sure if it was no, it's not a phishing email. It's absolutely true. I might be fishing for some of your business. I think CompTIA is going to raise all of their prices on January 20th. And so if you're thinking about taking a certification, this is the time. If you haven't got your voucher yet, go to TotalSem.com and buy your voucher, so that way your price is locked in. It'll still work fine. It's still good for a year, but you're going to end up saving like over 20%, I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that number, but it's a substantial amount. So do take advantage of that. So no, the Server Plus isn't, I'm not sure what general means. It's basic, but it talks a lot about server stuff. You're going to know RAID better than me at the end of that stuff. Lloyd Christmas, Mike, high school here. Okay, how do you feel about high school students taking ITF certs? Do you think it's possible for that age group? Yes. I'd love to give my high school grads a head start. IT Fundamentals is great. I know a number of high schools that do A+. I know some high schools that do A+ and Net+. But as a little jump start, IT Fundamentals is very attractive. It's a very inexpensive certification. It used to be like $40. It might still be that cheap, but I'm not positive. But yeah, Lloyd, I'm all for it, man. Go for it. Also, Lloyd, send me an email if you would. Here, why is my mouse being pilly today? Here, Lloyd, send me an email, michaelm@totalsem.com, and I'll get you in touch with some of the folks at CompTIA who can help you out with some good deals. And probably Alan Rowland would be the person I'd have you talk to. And just let them know you're out there. They can offer you some nice stuff. Glad to do it, man. Yeah, Lloyd. In fact, I've got lots of schools that do A+. It's pretty common. We've seen a lot of schools where basically they do a lot of schools, what they'll do is they'll do IT fundamentals. I see IT fundamentals done in the 8th grade here in the States. And then like for freshman, sophomore is some type of course. Every state has their different curriculum, but they all fit into the A+. And then junior year is Net Plus. And senior year for a lot of schools is either CCNA or Security Plus. Almost usually done more as an independent study kind of thing, but done all the time, very common. Lloyd, I'd be glad to have you talk to some schools that are doing that, if you'd like, and they could give you some ideas. Of course, using the Total Seminars products. Have I ever seen individuals with physical or cognitive issues getting jobs in IT? Yes. It can be a challenge. I've seen people who are, I forget the medical term for, they're not blind, but they're basically looking at life through a telescope, who have been successful. Certainly hearing impaired people do all right. Cognitive, I don't want to get into that because I'm not a medical person. I'm not a professional adult learning. You know, I don't have a doctorate in adult learning. But I've seen a lot of people with all kinds of challenges do very, very well in the IT world. Don Odinga, Mike, what's the easiest way to resize a Linux partition after initial configuration? I use gparted, G-P-A-R-T-D. Is that how to spell it? Gparted? Yeah. Here, let me pull this up so you can see this. Here, Don, check out gparted. GNOME partition editor. It's a great tool. It's been around for years. It's well updated. I would download from this, and just be careful. You know, don't download that because that's a PDF converter. But it's a great tool. Check out gparted. It'll resize any partition, anything, EXTs, NTFS, DOS, you name it, it'll handle it for you. There is no server plus TotalTester. Thank you, Dave. I just assumed we had it. We don't. I'm sure many of my fine competitors provide server plus. It must be me. We have a class in our nonprofit for disabled students to get their A+. Oh yeah, okay, we got that one already. Great, great, great. Looking for questions. Blue Lantern. I meant to say I play Age of Empires 2 Definitive. I don't play AO1, 1, or 3, but I've heard 4 just came out. Blue Lantern, I'm exactly the same. The only Age of Empires I play is Age of Empires 2. I had 3. I wasn't impressed. I didn't like the gameplay as much as I liked it in 2. And now you're telling me Age of Empires 4 is out? Oh, my goodness. So I'm so boring. I really have gotten back into my World of Warcraft. I've got my little hunter all the way up to 56 now. So she's about to jump into the next scary zone. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, pretty much WoW exclusively. Toloit, contact me offline. We'll get together again. I miss you. So Dave has a question that I must have missed, which I do all the time. AJ Borgia, would you either advise or discourage taking Linux Plus concurrently with Net Plus? I don't think you should ever study for more than one certification at a time. To study for any certification, whatever it is, takes a certain block of hours, okay? So, and in that block of hours, you're studying and you're using training materials and you're using practice questions that are geared towards that one particular certification. In my experience doing what you're trying to do, I've discovered that the only thing that happens by trying to take two different certifications concurrently is you get cross-filtered in your practice questions and you end up taking twice as long to do it. So you might as well do one immediately after the other, in my opinion. So I would discourage not just Net Plus and Linux Plus, but any certifications. I'd discourage any concurrent learning. Alucard, do you have any opinions on Palo Alto certs? Man, there's a lot of certs that are popping up, and is it going to change the... I don't have any opinion on Palo Alto certs. Dave, remind me, we ought to take a look at that. But I will tell you that we are starting to see other certifications. Just this week, we discovered that ISC Squared is offering a intro to cybersecurity kind of course. And it was my understanding they're doing it free. So it's kind of Security Plus-ish. I guarantee you, ISC Squared loves to charge money. So get on, if you're interested in it. I can't guarantee you it's going to do you any good, but neither can I say it won't do you any good. But the trick to any certification is that you really have to have a market behind it in order to have confidence in it. Now, with the exception of Server Plus, which just came up today as literally the first time in 10 years that I've actually heard somebody go, I need a Server Plus to make more money. In general, if I haven't heard about them, that's usually a pretty good sign that they're not going to have a lot of impact on your resume. And that doesn't make them bad at all. In fact, a lot of times, especially if you have something in the world of Palo Alto that's of interest to you, are you going to make me look this up? And who asked, was that Don who asked that question? Huh. Who knows? Have these things been around for 20 years and I'm just hearing about them now? That still speaks volume even there. Yeah, it's things are going to get more cybersecurity all the time. Mike's asking, quite the cybersecurity day, huh? Yeah. The industry goes through this stuff. It always does. There's always a hot certification. Millions of years ago it was Novell CNE. 500,000 years ago it was MCSE. You know, 250,000 years ago it was Cisco. 10 years ago it was, you know, other types of certs. And right now cybersecurity is hot, and you know, for good reason. I saw something on LinkedIn that really bothered me to death. I want to talk about it. And so you guys know that I'm now an employee of National Cyber Group, which bought Total Seminars, as well as another organization called CyberNow Labs. And CyberNow Labs provides a boot camp to help people become SOC analysts. It's not an inexpensive course. It's like, you know, before discounts, like $6,800. And there's not even a guarantee of a job. Now, what I will tell you is that we have a very high degree of success. The big thing about not wanting to guarantee is I can't guarantee that you have what it takes. And so for me, like when people are wanting to come into this course, I'm going to make sure, do they have the dedication? Do they have the time? You know, do they have the mental faculty? Do they have the ability, if a job shows up in, you know, New York, can they go? And People get pregnant. People end up having to move. People get sick. People get a better job offer in another industry. And all these things happen where these people who have put money down don't get jobs. And it bugs me. And there are some people out there, primarily people who were with CyberNow Labs before I started to join in, who I don't want to be insulting, but I'm going to be insulting, so I can't help it. CyberNow Labs doesn't allow you to just sit on your rear end and wait for a job to be handed to you. Yes, they have placement people. Yes, they work aggressively with the industry. Of course they do. But more importantly, they count on our graduates to get out there, get the resumes going. They got resume courses. They got all this stuff going on. And they count on them to get jobs. And there is a small minority, like single-digit minority of folks who start getting crabby at CyberNow Labs because they didn't get a job handed to them. And I was like, well, from day one, we were pretty clear about this, guys. And we continue to work with everybody. If you've taken the course, we'll take you through. But there is some dedication involved with it that seems to have been lost by some of the folks a little bit in terms of the work ethic. Hey, Jamie, can I have a Gatorade, please? I'm coughing on camera here, and everybody's laughing at me. And so that gets to be a bit of a challenge for me. I want people to work hard, and I don't know. Did Corona do this to everybody? You know, and like I like Reddit, Reddit.com. Have you guys ever been on there? I'm sure you have. But there are parts of Reddit, and it's usually on the front page kind of stuff, that they start talking about things here. Jamie does not want to be on camera. Thank you. They start talking about stuff that, I don't know, it's like this weird echo chamber. Subreddits like anti-work. I mean, am I so old-fashioned that I say things like, I'm defined by my work. I like to work. You know, my standard joke is, you'll know the day that Mike Meyers retires, because we'll be texting, and all of a sudden you're going to see the letter J, 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 because that's where I'm going to croak, and my nose is going to land on the keyboard. And people talking about stuff like work-life balance. Now, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a work-life balance. Of course you should. But I kind of touched on this a little bit on Monday, and it bugs me. It's like, I'm a gladiator. Oh, is Dave typing in something? If I go off too much, Dave will start saying, shut up. Yeah, Edgar Salinas. Everybody we know has had no problem getting jobs. I don't know. I feel like people are lazier. I'm not saying young people are lazier. I'm saying we're all lazier. Heck, I'm lazier. Corona gutted American exceptionalism. And I know we're not supposed to say American exceptionalism, but I'm pretty proud about living in the U.S. And I worry about society. And I almost feel like we're at peak Earth right now. That 100 years from now, people are going to say stuff like, you could still get beef? You know what I mean? This dysotropian paranoia. And I know, yeah, I know I'm getting off the deep end here a little bit, guys, but I am concerned. I had something happen that really, really bothered me. And I'm going to share this with you. So I've got this group of friends that we call ourselves the Pergola. And I'm the oldest member there, pretty much the oldest member there, but not that much older. It's a late 40s to early 60s group of people. And it's at this lady's house, and she's a beautiful gardener, has a lovely lawn, and we sit underneath this pergola and drink good wine. And a couple of years ago, this lady's next door neighbor, this was a woman who was successful, and she just, and she had money, and she was way up there in one of these oil patch things, but she never married, as far as I know. She had no kids. She had her job, but that's all she did. And then all of a sudden, I know this is going to be contrary to the work-life balance thing I said earlier, but she had nobody. And suddenly, this is a woman in her early 80s, And she literally walked next door to my neighbor and said, please take care of me in my old age, and I'll give you everything I have. And it's like, I don't know if that's good, man. I worry that we're in a position now where I don't want to get in trouble. Maybe I'll get on a Discord and we can talk about it there. But I worry that we're hitting the top, and it's going to start going down from now. Is it going to happen tomorrow? I don't know, but I don't think so. What I think is important is that I honestly don't know how to say this without getting in trouble. A lot of things that we have done in terms of interrelation of the sexes, which looked really good on paper in the 60s and 70s, is going to bite us in the ass sooner than we could have possibly ever imagined. And I'll be dead. So I'm talking to you younger folks, because I'll be out of here. But, you start hearing things like, did you guys know that in the West, and not the West, I don't mean the United States, I mean the EU, everywhere, that male testosterone has dropped 50% in the last 50 years. Since 1970, across the board, all male testosterone has dropped 50%. And people are blaming pollution and PCBs and snail darters. I think what's happened is that society has quickly realized that high testosterone men with, the good in war, bad in peace, and, the obnoxious kind of alpha male thing doesn't get you forward in life anymore. And I think that we have very carefully filtered out what were the previous 500,000 years of what traditional men were. And I'm not saying it's either good or bad. I'm not even saying I'm right. This is just old man speculation, But is it going to make for a better world? It's going to make for a softer world. Heck, I don't have calluses on my hands anymore. I don't know. I think about this a lot. I worry. We'll see. We'll see. If you get a chance, get on Wikipedia and look up here. It's called Mouse Heaven. Yeah, this is not IT. We're not talking about IT anymore. Mouse Heaven is what it was called, I think. Give me a sec, guys. Let me pull this up. I think you'll find this really interesting. Give me one sec. Bear with me. Yeah, so this is a biologist named John Calhoun in the 60s and 70s did a series of fascinating studies that basically were this. They were overpopulation studies. And it said, in a society where most everybody can eat, and most everybody, you're not living in your own filth, but the only thing you have, the only resource that's rare is space. Got it? What happens in rodents when that takes place? And I want you to look at these yourself. His name was John Calhoun, and these experiments were called Mouse Heaven. Then he did it with Rat Heaven. In every case, now keep in mind, there's enough food, okay? The cages are kept clean. There's just limited space. In every study, the population went to zero. That there's something innate, well, within rodents, that doesn't mean it's in humans, and we have intellect, maybe we got something, but there's something that happens where when population gets too big, certain things start taking place. And when you look at population curves, I mean, China's got it now, Russia's got it now, Japan's got it now, Lithuania's got it now, where the people who are supposed to have kids stop having kids, and whatever those reasons are, I'm not going to get into say good or bad. I'm not going to say I'm anti-feminist or anything like that. But when women stop having kids, and when I'm saying not have kids, I'm not saying zero. Just having 2 or less, that's all you need, okay? How many people on here right now have more than 2 kids? I don't. I'm actually going to, I want to see. Does anybody listening right now have more than 2 kids? Honestly. Nobody. Well, okay. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm saying it's a very real thing, and I have concerns. So now that I've chattered away, let me just see what anybody is saying of Dave Rush that we know of. There you go, Edgar. You crazy Latinos having all those babies. Who remembers when this happened to American and Japanese salarymen? Kareem, that's a great example of that. In fact, Kareem, what you should do is take a look at what the Japanese are now calling herbivore or vegetarian men. Take a look at that. Guys, you got to keep in mind, people kick back and they go, it's not everybody's doing that. Yeah, I know they're not all doing it, but enough are. Enough are. And if we can take the 20 and 30-year-olds and restrict the amount of kids they have so that when the next set of 20 or 30-year-olds are even smaller and the next set of 20 or 30-year-olds are even smaller, I don't know. As the Irish say, may you live in interesting times. I'll be curious to see what happens. Guys, I apologize for that sidebar. I'm getting older and I'm getting to be more of a, in the U.S. government, in the federal government, when people have a lot of time in and they're about to retire and they don't care anymore, they're called KMA, and it stands for Kiss My, and you can figure the rest of it out. And I'm kind of getting there, so we'll see. We'll see. I apologize for getting on a sidebar like that, but we weren't getting a lot of questions in, guys, so sometimes I go off a little bit for that. So I'm backtracking here a little bit. Here, Edgar Salinas, there were 90 people in my cohort and only about 40 or so were very active. So this is what kills me. If people are going to drop, it depends what you get in. Its MSRP is like $6,800 for CyberNow Labs. Wouldn't you want to put all your effort into it? Wouldn't you really want to be on top of it? I get a little upset at that, And Edgar, we probably ought to get you on too. Now that you're working. Edgar, I'm serious. We probably set up a Zoom meeting with Dave Rush and have you talk about your success. I want to hear about that. And even like the stuff you're talking about where out of a cohort of 90, only 40 people were active. What's going on? That doesn't even make sense. Now, hang on. No, so Mike says, love Reddit, something about everything. I love Reddit too, but I love it for different reasons. I love it for its entertainment value. For example, there's a subreddit called Idiots in Cars, where people are just doing idiotic things in cars. It's hilarious. There's another one that's kind of a little intense called Raised by Narcissists, and I like reading that one. People are going to think, man, we're learning a lot about you, Mike, just on the subreddits you look at. But there's a lot of Reddit that is becoming this very negative echo chamber of current issues. I have seen people very near and dear to me. I've watched their souls are like becoming black, and either they hate Trump or they hate Jordan Peterson, or they, it's all this hatred, and I don't think it's healthy. I mean, I spent my entire life, and to this day, I still do it. I spend time listening to conservative talk radio, and then in the evenings, then I'll listen to NPR, or I'll listen to more left-leaning radio, because I don't think there is any truth out there anymore. And when I see people clinging on to things that Trump has done without understanding Trump's position, or saying how bad Putin is, and I know you guys are going to get mad about this, but there is an argument, whether you agree with it or not, there is an argument for Putin's actions. And if you can't at least understand that, again, you don't have to agree with it. But as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, your enemy rarely sees himself as evil. And if we fail to take time to look at both sides of issues carefully, you're, in my view, disqualified from even talking about it. Then I'm going to throw in one more old man thing and I'll get back to technology. I'm not going to get upset anymore about things that I have absolutely zero control over. I'm not going to worry about national level politics unless I'm ready to get out on the street and do something about it. I'm not even going to complain about local politics unless I'm ready to get out there and start passing out pamphlets. And I'm not talking about Antifa crap. I'm talking about real politics, working the system, making stuff happen. And if I can't affect it, little Mike Meyers can't affect it, I'm going to relax. I might do subtle things in my life as preparations. We'll just leave it at that. But I'm not burying school buses in my backyard, okay? I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not buying gold. But I see so many people get so upset, so vitriol on Donald Trump. But I don't like Donald Trump. I never voted for him. But I had a friend of mine literally say back in 2016, she said, Mike, if you voted for Donald Trump, I will never speak to you again. And I said, I voted for Donald Trump. Because I wanted her to understand that if I can't have discourse with educated people, then it's probably better. Oh, by the way, we're all friends again. She denies she ever said that. But we're in tricky times, guys. We're in tricky times. I'm pretty sure your grandkids, if you have any, are going to say, what were you thinking about back in 2023, Grandpa, Grandma? All right, I'm going to get off this. I'm sorry. Thank you for putting up with me, guys. All right. Some people simply will not learn the value of work and discipline. You don't need to apologize. I mean, there's always been lazy people. Heck, I'm a lazy person, but, you know, I'm not too proud to clean a toilet. I don't know. All right, let me get back to it. Again, sorry, guys. All right, let me get back to it. Number one, we only got 10 more minutes, so let's go ahead and have our competition for today. Folks, get ready. Here's our competition. You are competing for 90-day free access to the Total Seminars, Total Tester practice questions of your choice. And since we were talking about Network Plus, let's go ahead and do Network Plus today. What I want to do is, let's do a Network Plus question. There's a part of me that says this live stream is going to get taken down. Yeah, we'll see. Let's do a Network Plus question on infrastructure, platform, and software as a service, okay? So let me give you an example, and the first person who types in which kind of as a service this is wins, okay? So everybody ready with your hands on the keyboard? Here we go. Today's question is, Amazon Web Services, in particular the S3, where you can create your own server, you add the CPU, the RAM, the operating system, all that. What kind of service is that? Is that infrastructure, platform, or software? First one to type it in gets 90-day free access. Go. Okay, hang on a minute. All right, so, okay, first of all, the winner is Patricia Grace. But I'm going to tell you what, Patricia, do you actually want the, Patricia, do you want the prize? Let's see what Patricia says. Okay, Patricia passed. All right, so I'm going to scroll down. And the next one is going to be, who actually typed it out, I'm going to give this one to AJ Borgia, all right? AJ Borgia, congratulations to you. You have won this week's Prize, AJ Borgia. You need to watch the screen carefully here, sir. AJ, in order to get your prize, you have to send an email to daver@totalsem.com. That's my buddy Dave. Add your YouTube name, which is AJ Borgia. Be sure to add your email address, and then add which practice exam you want. So, AJ, if you're looking for A+, tell us A+. If you're looking for Net+, do Net+. Whatever you want to do, man, just throw it in there, and we will get that to you. So congratulations, AJ Borgia. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for the day today. We will have, guys, if you didn't win, don't panic. Just come back again. We have these every week, and you can see we don't have a big crowd, so it's you can see, and even most of the people pass, so never panic. I try to be as fair as I can, but I do my best. And when we get back next week, I'm going to be talking to Dave tomorrow and Friday about shifting gears on the Wednesday. Let's see what Steve has to say. I would like to see Steve Nicholson doing one of these shows himself, to be honest with you, and I think he would too. Edgar Salinas, don't panic. I'll panic if I want to. You don't. Uh-oh, do we have troubles here, kids? Are we okay? All right. I'm assuming everybody's okay here. All right, well, guys, I'm out the door here. I will see you next Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I promise not to make any changes. I just won't make any changes without giving you guys a little bit warning. And so we've got, I want to see Edgar. I'd love to have you on. Who else was it? Who else? Betland, let's talk about you coming on. We'll do a Zoom meeting. We get to see your face in your ugly bedroom or wherever you keep your computer. And that'll be our plan coming up. So, folks, I am out of here. This is your Uncle Mikey saying bye-bye, and I'll see you on Monday.